What's up, WMS? It's Logan.
And I'm Maddie. You're watching Bulldog News.
Today's Wednesday, March 31st.
Let's take a look back at a recent event in history.
May 2nd, 2008, a movie was released. A movie many thought wouldn't work. A movie that had been in the making since the 1990s. May 2nd, 2008, the day a whole new universe was born. The beloved comic book character came to life as Marvel fans all across America bought tickets to see a movie that kicked off the line of MCU characters. Starring as Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. took this genius billionaire playboy philanthropist to a whole other level. And even though Iron Man wasn't the first Avenger, he was the first Avenger to be put on the big screen, and that's a big deal. But let's celebrate this suit of armor, because without him, Marvel wouldn't have become what it is today. Today, 13 years after Iron Man first came out, we honor Tony Stark's journey, one you can watch from the start on Disney Plus or check out the DVDs at your local library. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned a little bit about the Marvel Cinematic Universe and how it got its start. Thank you for watching.
Thanks, Kelly. That was really interesting.
I didn't realize that Iron Man was the first Marvel movie.
Yeah, now let's watch part 1 of a teacher interview with Mrs. Mathis. Okay, this is the teacher interview, and I have Miss Mathis with me to answer some questions. Thank you for joining me, Miss Mathis.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so my first question is, what middle school did you go to and during what years?
I grew up in North Dakota, so it won't be a middle school you've heard of. It was called Castleton Junior High, actually. So it was grades 7 and 8. Sixth grade was part of elementary school, and this was in the early 70s.
Interesting. What was your hometown like, and can you describe it for me?
Yeah, I grew up on a farm. So the nearest town was 3 miles away. It was Wheatland, North Dakota. It was tiny. There were maybe 35 people in the whole town. So at one point it was much larger and had a lot of stores, but it just kind of shrunk down into a little ghost town. It had a post office and a store and a bar, and all 3 buildings were connected and owned by the same people. And then there was a grain elevator. So the farmers would drive their trucks up with their grain and dump at the grain elevator. And then there were a bunch of houses, and then this school that I went to.
What was the school called?
The school was called Wheatland Public School, and it only went through, it was kindergarten through 6th grade. When there was a fire that broke out, all of the junior high and high school kids were bused to the next town. So it was just elementary, and I went to kindergarten for 6 weeks. It was just a spring program, and the school was so small, it only had 3 teachers. First and second grade teacher, third and fourth teacher, fifth and sixth teacher. And the first and second grade teacher was also the principal. So we had a very small staff, and then we had 2 custodians, and they doubled as the bus drivers.
Wow, that must have been really weird living in like a small city like that. Did you have like any outside contact other than that small town?
Well, then the next nearest town was Castleton, and that's where I went to junior high and high school. So that was a large town. It had 1,800 people. So that was like a Dairy Queen that was open only in the summer, and a few restaurants. There were 2 banks, 2 grocery stores, a drugstore, 8 churches, and a much larger population. So if we wanted to go to the movies or other restaurants, then we went to Fargo, which was 33 miles away.
Wow. Huh. Cool. Miss Mathis, what did you do for fun?
Well, because I lived on a farm and pretty far away from where my friends were, my playmates were my siblings. And we loved to play cards. We did jigsaw puzzles together. My sisters and I would bake together every Saturday in our very small kitchen. Um, I talked on the phone a lot with my friends because that was my connection to them. So I was kind of known for hogging the phone because we had a party line back then, and my whole family had to share the same phone, with the kind with the long cord. And then our neighbors had the same phone number as us. So when we picked up the phone, maybe they would be talking. So we had to share, and I wasn't very good at sharing because I was very talkative with my friends. So my mom would come in with an egg timer, and she would turn it upside down, telling me, "You got 3 minutes to wrap this up." And then I'd have to get off the phone.
Well, that must have been kind of weird to like want to talk to your friend and then like your neighbors talking to like the landlord about something.
They could listen in if they wanted. We could hear a click, so we knew they were listening.
Cool. Let me see here. What were some of your favorite television shows?
I tended towards sitcoms. So yes, I watched The Brady Bunch. It was so unique because it was a show where almost every character was a kid, and that was different. And they were about my age and the age of my siblings, so that was pretty interesting for me. And I thought Peter was really cute, so yeah, I tuned in to see Peter.
When do you get through here?
Right about now.
Hey, great. Have lunch with me.
Oh, sorry, can't. I'm filling in for my brother. He's an animal.
Aren't we all?
I mean, he wears one of those animal costumes and walks around the park greeting people.
I also liked the Mary Tyler Moore Show and the Bob Newhart Show, nothing you've heard of. But again, they were sitcoms. Sometimes I watched too many game shows back to back to back because it was something to do.
What were some of those game shows that you watched?
There was one called Password, and it was about games. Words. You had to get your partner to guess a word by giving them clues.
I'll play.
Go.
English.
British.
Yes! Okay, Liz. The answer to the puzzle can be a person, a place, or a thing. You've got 3 clues. Cigar, speech. You just added British. What's the answer?
Winston Churchill.
Is it Winston Churchill? It is!
There was one called Hollywood Squares, and it had movie stars on it, and then 2 panelists, and then they'd ask questions, and just random questions. So it was fun to see the movie stars.
Very, very interesting. What are some of your favorite movies, and could you describe like what genre they were?
Okay. Just like I liked sitcoms, I liked comedies. And I think one of my favorite ones was called American Graffiti. And it was the story of high school kids, and it was like the last night in town before these seniors went off to college, and everyone was going to be, split up and going in different directions. So it was their like last wild night in town. And it was pretty funny, and it was nostalgic. And even though it took place in the 70s, the setting of the movie was the 50s. And it was fun to see the clothes from the 50s, and especially the music from the 50s. So that's generally, if I did go to a movie, I would usually go to something that made me laugh.
Oh, that was beautiful, John, just beautiful. Huh? I was losing, man. What? He had me, man. He was pulling away from me just before he crashed.
You're crazy.
You saw it?
No, you creamed him from right off the line. The guy never had a chance.
Shit, Toad. The man had me. He was beating me.
John, I don't know what you're talking about. It was the most beautiful thing I ever seen. That guy, he might as well, he can get a wheelchair and roll himself home.
Oh, I was going to say there was a spin-off TV show from this movie, and it was called Happy Days.
Do you have any other favorite movies at all?
Just like I spent a lot of my time with my siblings, we'd go to movies together too. And because there was a real gamut in age, we'd hit the Disney movies and things like The Sound of Music.
The hills are alive with the sound of music, with songs they have sung for 1,000 years. The hills fill my heart with the sound of music. My heart wants to sing every song it hears.
I think I wasn't in junior high yet, but Mary Poppins. I have memories of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and a lot of family movies because we were a really tight family and we did everything together.
Really cool. Awesome.
Thanks, me. And I thought Olympia was a small town.
Next, let's listen to a really good book review by Ashana.
Poisoned by Jennifer Donnelly. This is a sort of a spin-off of Snow White. I'm in love with this book. It has huge cliffhangers and leaves you on the edge of your seat. It's not available at the WMS library. I got it from the book fair. There are so many more spin-offs written by Jennifer Donnelly, so you can check them out. Or check this one out. They're all very cool. So I'll read you the summary. It'll be right next to my face. A girl named Sophie brought into the forest with the queen's huntsman. Her lips were the color of ripe cherries, her skin as soft as new-fallen snow, her hair as dark as midnight. When they stopped to rest, the huntsman pulled out his knife and took Sophie's heart. It shouldn't have come as a surprise. Sophie had heard the rumors, the whispers. They said she was so kind and foolish to rule, a waste of a princess, a disaster of a future queen. And Sophie believed them. She believed everything she'd heard about herself, the poisonous words people used to keep girls like Sophie from becoming too powerful, too strong. With the help of 7 mysterious strangers, Sophie managed to survive. But when she realizes that the brutal queen might not be the one to blame for the attack, Sophie must find the courage to face a new, terrifying enemy, proving that even the darkest magic can't extinguish the fire burning inside of every girl, and that kindness is the ultimate form of strength. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Ashana. That sounds like a really good book.
If you have a great book to recommend, go to website and click on Students' Morning Announcements, Book Recommendations.
We will have another later in the broadcast.
Here's a message from Jess about new ideas for Bulldog News.
Hey Bulldogs, us at Bulldog News are always looking for new segments. If you have any ideas, we have made a form and would like to hear your ideas. This is how you get to the form.
Thanks, Jesse. Let's hear ideas for new segments, Bulldogs.
Now let's check out an excellent tutorial by Alexis.
To get Word Art, click the Insert tab and go to the bottom and click Word Art. Here you can type whatever you desire. At this point, you can adjust it to where you desire on the screen. Up top, you have some different options. Hit the pencil, and it is to change the color of the border as seen here. Hit the lines, and it is to change the thickness of the border. If you hit the paint bucket icon, you can change the color inside of the border. The lines and dots icon lets you change the type of border shown here. You can also change the font of it. For this, I'm choosing the lobster font. You can also bold or italicize the word. You can also change the format option by clicking the tab up top. When the tab drops down, you can see a drop shadow option. You can change the transparency, blur, and distance, and also the angle of the shadow. If you hit the three dots and click animation, you can pick an animation. Hope this helps.
Thanks, Alexis. That is really helpful.
Now let's hear about some new times for 2 of our WMS clubs.
Hey everyone, it's Miss Savinsky here, just letting you know that we have a new time for Spectrum Club. We're now meeting on Wednesdays from 10:15 to 11 o'clock. Please email me for the Zoom link. I hope to see you there.
Thanks, Miss Savinsky. On to the weather with Hayden. Hayden?
What up, WMS? It's Hayden, and welcome back to Where in the World is Hayden P. Thank you to all who responded in my Google form. Most of you are correct that I was in Mount Everest. Here are the names. Get ready for this week's weather, because here we go. Today's partly cloudy. Tomorrow and the day after is cloud. Then mostly cloudy. Then we're going to have AM showers. Then sun for the rest of the week till Tuesday. So go out, have fun, be safe, but watch out for rain on Saturday. 'Cause we know it. Know where I'm at this time? Respond in my Google form on the website. Students who are correct will have their names announced next week. Here's a reminder of how to get to the form.
From Kiev to Carolina, she's a sticky-fingered filcher from Berlin down to Belize. Take you for a ride on a slow boat to China. Tell me where in the world.
Now let's hear about another powerful book.
Hey WMS, this is Mr. Coiner. I recently read a really great book called The Night Diary by Vera Hiradandi. It's a historical novel set in 1947 during the time that India was being split into 2 countries, India and Pakistan. It's a terrifying book about Nisha's family's plight as they try to escape the horrible violence that's going on throughout the 2 countries. Yet it's really also a beautiful story about a young girl writing letters to her deceased mom, trying to figure out what her place in this world is. If you really like historical fiction and great writing, The Night Diary is just a fantastic book, and you should check it out at the WMS Library.
Thank you, Mr. Coiner. That sounds like a really important book.
Here are this week's birthdays.
It's your birthday. Happy birthday. It's your birthday. Happy birthday. It's a great day. That's what we say. Happy birthday to you. It's your birthday. Happy birthday. It's your birthday. Happy birthday. It's a great day. That's what we say. Happy birthday to you. It's your birthday. Happy birthday. It's your birthday. Happy birthday. It's a great day. That's what we say.
And remember, Bulldogs, be kind,
Be safe.
wear a mask, and make
good
good
choices.
choices.